In mesh analysis, we have seen that KVL for the mesh analysis, and on the basis of KVL we find out the unknown currents. So to find out the unknown currents we use mesh analysis. That's if you have been asked like what is the application of mesh analysis, to find out the unknown currents in the circuit. It is only applicable to a planar circuit. So if there are two lines crossing each other, like for an example, there are two resistors like this. Probably my whiteboard is not working today. Let me try though. If you have condition like this, see there is one resistor here, one more resistor here, one more resistor here, one more resistor here. I can do a mesh analysis on this because I can have a two clear loops here. But if my resistor is overlapping like this, two resistors crossing each other without any connection in between, then this is not a planar circuit. Okay, I have to convert this into a planar circuit. So what I can do, So what I can do in this case is I can, this pointer is a little bit difficult to operate today. Okay, so what I can do is I will remove this part from here. I'll remove this resistor from here. Remove this resistor from here. And from here. Okay, and instead of that, I'll represent it over here like this. Then it is possible to perform mesh analysis. It's not always like case. Always you do some kind of this tweaks and it is possible. But this is an example of unplanar circuit. So in that kind of scenario, you cannot apply the mesh analysis. A mesh is basically a loop that does not contain any other loops, and the current through a mesh is known as the mesh current. Assume for simplicity that the circuit contains only voltage sources. There are no current sources. Now, what are the different steps? So rather than going in this, we'll see it over here. So first step is to identify number of meshes and to identify each individual mesh. How you can identify number of meshes? So we have a basic formula to find out number of meshes, and that formula is this. Sorry. This is the formula. L is number of meshes that can be calculated from the number of branch, number of node plus 1. So P minus N plus 1 is the equation to get the number of meshes. So what is number of branch? So in this case, number of branch are basically each element can be considered as one branch. So for an example, this is my first branch, second branch, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th. Okay, so here I have 10 branches and number of nodes. So 1, 2, okay, this is third, this line is combined. So third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Okay, so I have total 7 nodes. So 10 minus 7 plus 1, so I'll get 4. So I'll have 4 meshes in this case. So I have identified each mesh like this. This is my first mesh, second mesh, third mesh, and fourth mesh. Then the second step, okay, I have identified each mesh. Now second step is what? Second step is to assume the mesh current. So generally we'll assume a mesh current in clockwise direction. Okay, go with this all the time, like do not assume anti-clockwise, otherwise it will play with your psychology. So always go with a clockwise current. So I'll have a mesh current. So okay, I have 4 mesh current here, I1, I2, I3, and I4. Once I identify for each individual, I've seen that yes, on the basis of mesh current, provide the polarity of each resistor on the basis of the assumed mesh current, and then travel in one direction. If you see a potential changing from negative to positive, consider it as a rise in potential, and if you see a potential going from positive to negative, consider it as a negative or voltage drop or potential drop in loop. So if I rotate over in this branch, what I can see here is this is my rising potential. I'll write Vs2. Then this is drop in potential. I'll write minus V1. Then I'll write minus V7, and then I have a negative over here, positive over here, so I'll write plus V5. Okay, this is the assumed scenario. That's why we are taking it like this. Otherwise, if I consider I1 in this direction, I'll take positive over here, negative over here. So my V5 will be actually I5 into R5, but with a negative sign. Okay, then next step, once I use the TVL, I am completing mesh analysis, then simplify the equation and using Cramer's rule, solve the equation and get the current I1, I2, I3 and I4. Okay, let's quickly go through the example, not this one, but we'll go with the other example. Rather than this, we'll go the example that has been solved. Yeah. Okay, now yesterday we have seen this example. In this example, I have first assumed this direction of the current I1 in clockwise. Okay, now to write the equation for this loop, I'll start from this point, the bottom left point. So first I'll travel in this direction. I am seeing first potential 50-volt source changing from negative polarity to positive polarity. So I'll write plus 50. Okay, then I will move forward. I am getting one more resistor over here. As I1 is in clockwise direction, positive negative potential is appearing across this resistor in this way. So this is a drop in potential. So I'll write minus 10 I1. Then I'll move ahead. Now there is an element which has two different current flowing through that element. First current is this I1. Second current is I2. So due to that two different current, two different potential differences will appear across this resistor. And I have shown two different polarity with two different colors. Okay, due to I1 that is positive negative like this, and due to I2 the upper one is. So as I am traveling in, first I have to now consider both the potentials due to both the currents. Okay, so first I'll consider this side. So due to I1, so that would be minus 5 I1. Okay, like this, minus 5 I1, and due to the current I2, now I am traveling in this way, negative to positive. That's why I'll write plus 5 I2. Okay, keep in mind this is not I1, this is I2. Why? Because it is appearing due to current in the neighboring loop. That's why I have to write plus 5I2. Same way here I have to write minus 3I1 and plus 3I3. Okay, so this is how we get the equation. Then we'll write down this equation and solve that equation in terms of I1, I2, I3. And then I'll find all the other equations, and from that we'll generate this matrix Ri equal to V, where my R is the elements of the matrix based on this multipliers. So here for the first equation, that is minus 18 plus 5 and plus 3. If there are 4 currents, there would be one more term appearing over here, that is I4. If you do not have that, you can put a 0. But here I have 3 currents, that's why I'll have only 3 by 3 matrix. So each row will have 3 elements. So my 3 elements is minus 18 plus 5 and 3. Okay, same way for the other two equation, 5 minus 8 and 1 and 3 1 minus 4. Okay, same way the minus 50, 10 and 0 will create my V matrix. That would be a column matrix. So minus 50, 10 and 5. Okay, now solving this using Cramer's rule. How to apply Cramer's rule? We have already seen that. Let's go through that. How to apply Cramer's rule? So basically, you create this kind of matrices based on Cramer's rule. So first matrix is your all the constant, or you can say this is a D matrix. Okay, in our case we'll say it is delta R. Then I have to find out D1, D2 and D3. In our case it would be delta R1, delta R2 and delta R3. How to find out D1? So I will replace my first column with my V column matrix. So I'll replace this as B1, B2 and B3. Same way for the D2 matrix, I will change it and I'll replace the second column as B1, B2, B3, and for D3 I'll change the third column. Okay, and then I can solve it like this. The first current I1 would be delta R1 divided by delta R. And in yesterday's example, I have calculated it like this. We were getting minus value minus 356. Then delta R1, delta R2 and delta R3 I have calculated. This is minus 1175, minus 355 and minus 525. So let us check that. Now let's check that whether we were getting the correct answer or not. Our equation and the ones in this PPT that having the sign issue, okay, the whatever terms are positive in this case were negative in our solution. So we have this values, all these values are negative in our case. But when you apply the Cramer's rule, I will get minus 1175 divided by minus 356. So minus minus will cancel out each other and I will get only 3.3 amperes current. That would be a positive. So my answer is same in this case. Though I was having a different equation, like different in terms of sign only. Okay, the terms are positive in my case were negative in the PPT. That's the only difference. Otherwise, that both are same. If I replace my left hand side to right hand side and right to left, the equation would be the same. So these were my answers. Okay, so this is how you can do a mesh analysis. Any questions in mesh analysis?
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
So now we can move ahead. I'll give you one assignment tomorrow or Monday, where you will be asked to solve the examples based on unit 1 and unit 2. I'll give you assignment and you'll submit it. Okay. Now let us start with the next part, and that is nodal analysis. Now the nodal analysis is basically a technique that is used to analyze circuit with more than one voltage sources. Okay, so in mesh analysis we are finding the unknown currents, but in nodal analysis we will find out voltages at different nodes, and depending on that voltage you can calculate your currents or voltages in other part of the circuit. Okay, so here we will be mainly focusing on voltage. Now the nodal analysis use the KCL. Earlier in mesh analysis we were using KVL, but here we are going to use KCL. It is used to determine the voltages of the nodes in a circuit. Okay, so we'll find out the voltages at different nodes using KCL. Once you determine the node voltages, it is possible to find all the branch voltages, current and the power supplied or absorbed by each circuit element. So the node voltage is the basic information. From that information I can get any of the other parameters, be it a voltage, current or power. I can do it. Okay. Now let us start with an example directly. Here we do not have how to apply the nodal analysis, but we'll go with example directly. So this is the question. Use a nodal analysis to find out. Follow this. If you have a question in which it is specified, like use this particular analysis to do some task in exam, you have to follow that question. If you have been asked a question based on nodal, and if you are solving it on based on the mesh, you will not get any marks. So follow the question. Okay. So here it is asked on the basis of nodal analysis. Nodal analysis to find out the voltage across 5 ohm resistor for the network shown below. Okay, this is the network, and we have to find out the resistor. This is the 5 ohm resistor, and I have to find out the voltage across this resistor. What is the voltage across this resistor? Now here you can see something different, that this is not a voltage source and neither is this voltage source. These two are known as a current source. Current source is represented like this. Whenever you have a current source, it is represented like this. Okay. Earlier we have a voltage source. At that time we were either have this sign or you have this battery sign, but whenever you have a current source you will have this kind of sign. Okay, an arrow with a encircled arrow, and the direction of this arrow defines in which direction current is flowing. So here if the arrow is going on up, that means the current is going in this direction. So this current source with this current direction, as we have this positive negative in case of voltage source, if I draw it like this, positive negative, and then I draw some resistor. If I ask you the current, you will say based on this positive and negative polarity. If I change the polarity, negative positive here, it will change the direction of the current. Same way, this arrow represents the direction of the current. So keep that in mind. The direction is very important. Now, in this example, both the current sources are acting in two different directions. See, here it is going upward and here it is going downward. Now, how to solve this? So how to apply the nodal analysis? Basically, a nodal analysis is the technique to identify individual nodes and finding out the voltage at individual nodes. So here in our case, if you find out a node, first of all, what is a node? Node is a place where more than two branches, not two, but more than two branches are connected. For an example, if you take this branch, sorry, this point, this I considered as a node. Why? Because I have this first branch, second branch, and third branch going through this node. But if you consider this one, this can be a node. Why? Because I have only one element over here. If you consider this one, so it is basically the same node. This is the same node. But for an example, I do not have a node where two lines are connected. Just for an example, I can draw it for you. Suppose you have a resistor like this, you have one more resistor like this, and if I discuss about this node, I cannot consider this as a node. Why? Because there are only two branches. But if I add one more branch, I can consider this as a node. Okay. So node is a place where more than two branches are connected, more than two. So in our case, in this example, if I say which are the nodes, so first of all, we are going to find out the node. So here, if you see, this is my first node. This is my second node. Because you can see first branch, second branch, third branch. Here you can see first branch, second branch, and third branch. And there is one more node over here. Okay, first branch, second branch, third branch, and fourth branch. More than two, but it can be like any number, like it can be a 10 branch. Here we have 4, so this is also a node. So in nodal analysis, first of all, you have to find out the nodes. So I have identified 3 nodes here. Let us name them as node A, node B, and node. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to apply KCL at this node. But I'm not going to use this all 3 nodes because I need a reference point. So I'm going to consider this point as a reference point, and I'll assume a potential at this point is 0. Okay, our voltage at this point is 0, and if you look at this circuit, generally you will get this as a 0 potential only. Why? Because the current is going in this direction. So this is my reference node. Okay, so this is my reference node, and I'm not going to apply a KCL at this point. But why this node is required? Sorry. Yeah, anyone has any doubt? Someone was asking.
Sir, there are only 3 nodes in the given circuit.
Yeah, there are only 3 nodes here. You cannot identify fourth node. If you look at this point, for an example, this will look you like as a node, but actually this point or this point are the same thing. So here we have only 3 nodes. But in all the circuits, there are 3 nodes. It's not like that. That can be a 4 node or 5 node. It is possible. But in this case, there are only 3 nodes. And whenever you use nodal analysis, at that time you have to take one reference node. So here I am considering this as a reference node.
Sir, we can't consider that 2 ohm resistor downside that node. on the
Sorry?
left side of C. On the left side of C,
E. This point.
reference point. Sir,
I'm not getting your question clearly. Can you repeat?
sir, you have given the reference point on the left side of the reference point. We can't consider that node.
See, if you say this node or this node or this node or this node, that all are same. That are all same potential. Why? Because they are connected without any resistor in between. So this all point are connected at the same node. So if I say this is a node or this is a node, that is the same thing. I can redraw this circuit like this. See, I'll connect it like this. I'll connect the second line like this. This is my current source. I'll connect it like this, and this is my third current source. I'll connect it like this. So now if you look at this, this is my circuit, and this is a single node.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay.
So actually that creates a mistake, but if you have a resistor in between, then and then a new node will be created. Same way, if I remove this resistor, there will be only single node over here. But as there is a resistor in between this, there will be two separate nodes. So this is the same node. So I can consider this node or this node. That's the same thing. So I'll consider one reference point. And on the basis of this reference point, I'm going to write different equation for the KCL. Okay. Now this first step is over. I have completed, I have find out all my nodes. Now the second step is to apply the KCL at node A and node B. So I'm going to apply a KCL here. But before applying the KCL, I must find out what is the direction of the currents. I have to assume that. So let us say I'm assuming the direction. This is the incoming direction. I'm assuming this. You can assume it in reverse direction. Based on your assumption, you are going to write something. So I assume it like this. From this node, I'm going like this, out, and in from here. Now I have assumed the current direction. This is purely assumption based, because if you look at this point, you'll see this is going in this direction and the opposite one is also going in this direction. So it is not possible. But this is purely on assumption based. Whenever you find the correct answer, the answer will change the polarity. So it can be you will get a minus answer, and that represent that assumption direction was wrong. So I have assumed the direction of the current at each node. Now I have to write the KCL for this each node. So let us write KCL for node A. So if you write down the KCL for node A, so we know that what KCL state. KCL state that if you have a node and if you have incoming 4 or 5 lines at node, all the algebraic sum of all the current coming in or going out, the algebraic sum would be 0. Okay. So let us say this is current I1, this is current I2, current I3 is going out, and current I4 is going out. So my algebraic sum, let us say I'm going inward, that is positive. So I1 is inward, positive, I2 is inward, positive, I3 going out. So I will consider it as negative. I4 negative, that is 0. Or I can write it like this also. All the currents going inward on one side is equal to current going on outside. That both the are same. Okay. If I take this two term on that side, that would be the same. So this is the KCL. So if I apply KCL over here, so I have to write out down. Let us temporary writing down this one. This is my I2 and this bottom one is my I3. So here I can write I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. Now what is the value of I1? So in this case, as this is a current source, I can directly write I1 is 3.1 ampere. What is the value of I2? Now I2 is the current flowing between node A and node B. So I have to write an equation from this, that what would be the current inside the 5 ohm resistor, what would the value of I2. So we know that the current I is equal to V by R. So here, if I know the voltage difference, because this, sorry, anyone want to ask something? I have to mute you all. So here we know that I is equal to V by R. So if I know the voltage difference across this resistor, 5 ohm resistor, then I can easily write down what would be the uh, current flowing through that branch. So let us assume that this node A, is at some V voltage. So I will say that is VA, and this node voltage is VB. And we are going to find out VA and VB only through this nodal analysis. So now if I ask what is value of I2, so I2 is nothing but potential difference between 5 ohm resistor. So that difference would be VA minus VB divided by 5. How this came? As I have taken this direction, that means if I assume this direction, so this is at higher potential. So higher potential, current will flow from higher potential to lower potential. That's why I would write VA minus VB divided by 5. So VA minus VB is the potential difference between this element. So across this element, what is the potential difference? That is VA minus VB. And what was the resistance? So resistance 5. So I write VA minus VB by 5. So that is VA minus VB divided by 5. Okay. Then I have to find out I3. Same way, I3 is appearing in this direction. So that equation would be VA minus VC. See, there is a node C here. So it is VA minus VC divided by 2. But as we have assumed that that is a reference node, so I can put VC equal to 0. So my equation becomes VA minus VB divided by 5 plus VA by 2. So 3.1 is equal to VA minus VB by 5 plus VA by 2. Now you have to simplify this equation in terms of VA, VB and equal to something. Once you simplify this equation using Cramer's rule, you can solve this example. Okay. Now let us write down the equation for the other part. Let me remove some space. Okay. Again, I'll write pointer option pen. Okay. Same way, we are applying KCL at node B. Let us assume we are applying KCL at node B. Now at node B, what will happen? I need more space. So at node B, I can again write down the equation like this. Let us assume again I1, I2 and I3. Now forget about this I2, I3. I'm assuming new I1, I2, I3 over here. So what would be my equation? My equation would be I1 is incoming. So I1 is equal to outgoing are I2 and I3. Why this I1 is going out here? I1 equal to I2 plus I3. Now what is the value of I1? Now here, if you look at this, my value of I1 current is minus 1.4. Now see what is this scenario. My current value is minus 1.4. But if you look at the sign, it is going in this downward side. And what I'm assuming is in this direction. So if I travel from this point and I go across this, I will face the current going in opposite direction. So I have to consider this as a negative current. So what I'll do is I'll consider this as a negative current. So my actual value of I1 is minus into minus 1.4. Okay. This initial minus, the inside one minus is due to that given value. It is given as minus 1.4. But as this current direction is opposite to the assumed direction, that's why I have to take a minus. Look at here. In the earlier case, that was 3.1 ampere going upward. So what I have done directly is I have directly taken 3.1. Why? Because the direction is matched with assumed direction. My assumed direction is this. See, and it is the same with both are same direction, so I can take this as a positive. What was the value? 3.1. So I'll consider 3.1 as a positive. But here my value is negative 1.4. Along with that, there is a reverse direction. Current is going in opposite direction to the assumed current. So I have to take one more minus. So both minus will cancel out each other, and again I'll get 1.4. But actually this scenario is equal to I2. What would be the value of I2? So I2 is this current going in this branch, bottom branch. So I'll write VB minus VC by 1. But VC is 0. That's why I can directly write VB divided by 1 plus I3 going in this direction. So VB at higher potential. So I can write VB minus VA divided by 5. Okay. Now when you are applying KCL at this point, you have to go with assume direction from this point and not from this point. Okay, that's the scenario. Clear? Now let's see the actual equation. What they have done. So see, they have taken this kind of direction as we have done, and then they are getting the same equation that we have getting 3.1 VA by 2 VA minus VB by 5. See, we have getting the same equation, VA minus VB by 5 plus VA by 2, and the other one is 1.4 equal to VB by 1 plus VB minus VA divided by 5. So this is the other equation, VB by 1 VB minus VA by 5 equal to 1.4. So using this two equation, now this is the second equation. Okay, I'm just simplifying this equation. If you do not like it on 0.7, what you can do is take that LHS and multiply, cross multiplication, and then have some integers number over here rather than some float value. You can do that, whichever method you prefer. At the end the answer would be same in both the cases. So they have come along with this two equation, simplifying for VA and VB. Okay, so 0.7 VA minus 0.2 VB equal to 3.1, and minus 0.2 VA plus 1.2 VB equal to 1.4. Now as we have seen earlier, we were using this equation, Cramer's rule, based on RIV. Now here, this again we are going to apply the Cramer's rule, but along with resistance, instead of resistance we are going with conductance, or you can say G. So what is the relation between G and R is G is equal to basically 1 by R, or you can say R is equal to 1 by G. Whatever is the resistance, the opposite of resistance is conductance. So there is this relation. Okay, so if I take I is equal to V by R, I can write I is equal to V by V into G. Okay, and if you look at this equation, it is following this pattern, G into V is equal to I. See, this is my currents, 1.4 and 3.1 was my current. Okay, 0.7 is actually my G values. This is my G conductance. Okay, and this VA and VB are voltages. So what we are getting now is, earlier we were getting delta R, instead of now we'll getting a conductance matrix, that is delta G, and we are going to find out the determinant of that. Okay, so here this is my conductance matrix G. Same we have done earlier, 0.7 minus 0.2. Okay, so 0.7 minus 0.2 VA VB are multiplier, so 0.7 VA minus 0.2 VB, and that's for equation. Okay, same way for the other equation, minus 0.2 for VA and 1.2 for VB, so minus 0.2 and 1.2 equal to my current values, 3.1 and 1.4. So from that two equation I have derived this matrix, and solving this using Cramer's rule. See, this is now delta G. Same rule. So delta G first, then I'll find delta G1. So what would be the G1? I'll replace this two element or first column with my voltage, current matrix in this case. So this is my current matrix. So I'll replace this 0.31 and this would be 1.4. Yes. I'll get delta G1 and delta G2. Now from this I can get my VA value. What would be the VA? VA equal to delta G1 divided by delta G. Delta G1 by delta G. So VA is 5 volt and VB is 2 volt. Okay. Now VA and VB are found out. So see, where is VA and VB? So VA and VB are here. This is my VA and VB. I have found out these two values. This is 5 and this is 2, I guess. Let me check that again. So now that Two values found out. Now what I have been asked is I have to find out the potential difference across the 5 ohm resistor, and that we know that is VA minus VB. This is nothing but a 3 volt. Okay, this is how you can perform nodal analysis. Okay, clear? Any doubts? If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Yes, Suraj.
Sir, it is necessary to use Cramer's rule.
Most of the time we use Cramer's rule. There are other methods as well, but the Cramer's rule is the easiest method. So I prefer that.
But
And
sir, elimination will be better, not sir?
elimination would be better option, but here what is the issue with the elimination is what you will do with this part. For an example here, if you try to get elimination, what do you do is basically multiply something and then add it over there. So same way it will appear, that effect will appear over here as well. So VB will be multiplied and again it will go up. So you have to that would be a little bit difficult, but the Cramer's rule is little bit easy. There is a easy method to find out the determinant, like how you find out determinant, that might be a complex, or you might be worried about that determinant takes time. But if you are using calculator you can find out determinant easily. I cannot show you right now, but there is a way to find out the determinant. But prefer the Cramer's rule as long as the subject of triple E is concerned, because all the faculties will be following the same thing. And it is possible that though I am teaching the subject, but someone else will check your papers. It is possible in case of triple E, as that is handled at institute level. So that's why it may create a problem. So follow your Cramer's rule only. Okay, that's my suggestion. So that's my not suggestion, that you have to do that. Follow the Cramer's rule for this course. Otherwise, Gauss elimination is the perfect way. Also, you can perform the Gauss elimination as well. Yeah. Anything else?
Sir,
Speaking. Yeah.
sir, the reference point means so any point we can take out of the three.
Can take any point, but we prefer to take the point which is always having kind of zero potential scenario. For an example, in this case, you have current flowing in this direction and current going on like this direction. But if you observe this circuit, in most of the circuit you will have the bottom line, which is most of the time which would be at zero potential. Though this is a current source, so we do not have a better example. But for an example, let me show you one more example. The yesterday's problem. Let us see that. If you look at this problem, you will generally see whenever there is a potential source or voltage source, the negative terminal is always connected to negative line, the bottom line, without any resistance in between. So generally, that is the line that is actually at a zero potential. So prefer to select the line which is connected to so many branches, and at the same time it is connected to the negative terminal. So here also you can see there are most of the branches are connected there. See, in our case there are 4 branches connected here. Okay, so
But sir,
generally, yeah,
there
see,
is no general use of reference point.
there is
So we
no,
can choose whatever.
yeah, you can use whatever, but what I observed is if you take this point as a reference point, it would be better. But you will be following our methodology. That's the only thing. Otherwise, you can take this point or this point as a reference point as well. No issue in that. The Cramer's the nodal analysis will follow, and you will get the correct answer. No issue in that. If you want to try it out, you can try it out. No issue. You will get the same answer. Okay, but here you have to apply a nodal analysis at this point. You have to take care, there will be no 3 currents. For an example, let me show it here only. This is little bit, I'll show you just a moment. What you have to keep in mind, see, this is my example. Okay, Now suppose you are considering this as a node. Let us say this is VA and this is VB. Okay, and this is my VC or V reference. So this is a zero potential. I am assuming this. Now if you try to apply a nodal analysis at this point and you are assuming current like this, first, second and third. As soon as you do this, you are wrong. Why? Because see, there are 4 currents. If I redraw this circuit, then you will see that 4 current. So this is my first line. This is my second line. Okay. Now, and this is my third line, and this is my fourth line. I should be like, drawing it a little bit better. Just a moment. I'm redrawing it over here. See, this is my first line. This is my second resistor. This is my third resistor, and this is my other current source. And there is one more resistor over here. Okay. So rather than drawing it like this, I am drawing it like this. And now if you apply at this point is my VA. This is the same point, same circuit. No, nothing is changed. Just represented it different. But if you draw here, you will see 4 currents. See, this is my first current, second current, third current, and this is the fourth current. Okay. And now you can apply your nodal analysis. Based on that, you will get the answer. But keep that in mind. This is major issue. Whenever you change the reference point, like this bottom point, select as a your nodal analysis point at that time. It is possible there are more than 4 lines or 5 lines coming in, but you will only see 3. If you assume this point, you will only see 3 lines. Clear? So you have to keep this in mind. Yes, Aryan, clear? Aryan was there, or Raj, or who was that?
Yes, sir.
So keep this in mind whenever you take different point. Any other question?
No,
Sir,
sir.
some different examples. Can you show?
I have a different example. I have one example to solve for you as well, but it's already 12:04. So we'll quickly go to a different example, and then I'll give you a task for work from home. Sorry for this one. I have 2 different examples. See, this example is a little bit different. Okay, what is different here is I don't have a current source. I'll just simply write equation for this one, and then we'll complete this lecture. For an example, this is my first node, this is my second node, and this is my third node. Let me draw it over there. Okay, so this is my first node. Let us say this is my VA, this is my VB, and this is my reference node. Okay. Now if I assume the current, let us say generally what we do is we always assume the current going outward until and unless they are current source. Okay, so what I'll assume is all the 3 currents going outside this. You can do that. This is assumption basis. Okay, so I can do this. So now applying KVL. So my KVL would be applying like this. This is my I1. This bottom one is I2 and this one is I3. Okay. So now I have to apply KVL. So first of all, I have to find out I1. What would be the value of I1? So as the current is going from higher potential to lower potential. Okay, so current is assumed in this direction. That means VA is in higher potential. So I'll write VA. What is the value of lower potential? Now see, this is a voltage source. That means I can say this potential is at this point is at 5 volt potential. So I can put -5 divided by 2 ohm. Okay. Now this is my value of current I1. Same way my I2. So I2 would be VA. This is a reference node. So VA -0 divided by 3. And what would be the value I3? that would be VA minus VB divided by 1. Okay. Now applying KCL, so okay, so we know that I1 plus I2 plus I3 equal to 0. Why? Because all the three currents are going in outward. So it would be equated to 0. So I1 plus I2 plus I3 equal to 0. So what would be my equation? Equation is VA minus 5 divided by 2 plus VA by 3 plus VA minus VB divided by 1 equal to 0. Simplify this equation, you will get something and apply the Cramer's rule. Same way for the opposite side. See, I am writing the equation over here. I am directly writing equation now. So VB minus 3. I am writing for this current. VB minus 3 divided by 2 plus I am writing for this bottom line. VB divided by 3 plus for this line VB minus VA VB minus VA divided by 1 equals to 0. Now there is one more possibility. If you have to keep this in mind, if this potential source, as we were traveling in this direction, positive to negative is voltage drop, but if at all it is possible to have a connection like this, if you face this kind of difficulty, see what has done, minus has become plus and plus has become, so it is reverse polarity voltage source. Okay, I am assuming same scenario. This is my VB, this is my 2 ohm resistor, and this is my 3 volt battery, and the bottom one is my reference point. Okay, so if I write a current for this branch, if I am assuming this to be outside, at that time what would be my equation for current I1 or current I? Just say this is current I. In this case my current I would be VB. Okay, what we were writing earlier, minus. Why I was writing minus here? Why I have written minus 5 here? Because I was knowing that this point is a 5 volt potential, but which 5? That was plus 5. But I can say this point is at minus 3, or differently, if I say again you are crossing minus to plus, so minus to plus is rise in potential, so you have to consider a plus sign that we were following in the mesh analysis. Same way here I can say I am going in reverse direction, plus to minus is drop in potential, so I have to take minus 5. So I have taken minus 5 here, but here if your voltage polarity is different, and in that case you are going to write plus 3 divided by 2 and not minus 3. Okay, so if this kind of scenario is appearing, at that time you have to take care of this problem. Okay, this is obvious thing, there's nothing like new, but I'm just letting you know, if your polarity changes of voltage sources, you have to take plus 3 also. Okay, this is a rising potential, that's why. Clear? This is how you can write the equation. Okay, any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'll
Sir,
yes,
of
sorry,
answer. Can you show answer of this question
answer of this
so we
question.
can verify?
I'll share this whole PPT. Answer is noted somewhere here. Yeah, there are the answer. I can see this answer. Answer over here. So these are the answers. I'll share this PPT along with the answer, because we are done with unit 2. I'll going to share this whole PPT. There is one more problem to be solved. This is one more problem. You can solve this problem as well. There are the answer. These are the answer for this two. So I'll share these two questions along with this PPT, so you can solve it on your own. I'll solve the I'll share the answers also. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so you can leave the meeting if you do not have any question.